Norris, how's it going?
Pretty amazing, Bill. How you doing?
Man, you know what? I can't complain at all. So I'd like to thank everybody who's on the live stream. I'm Bill with ServiceTitan Hacks. You guys probably know me, and joined with Norris with Service Crucible, a fast-growing coaching platform and purchasing group. He was the one that shared with me the purchasing platform that we're going to talk about today. And thanks for joining me today, man.
Oh, I appreciate you having me on. I'm glad we were able to do this and answer some questions, get people familiar with it, and give them a walkthrough, and then obviously answer any questions that they have about it.
Yeah, that's great. So let me start out with a little story. So in 2020, my contracting business, my HVAC company, was buying a lot of equipment, and I think this was like this for a lot of HVAC contractors. Business was really good. We'd invested a lot into sales training and communication. And so our average tickets were really good, at least for our area. They were about 15,000 or so. And equipment pricing, we were a private label dealer with Goodman. And it was great. We had our brand on it. We got the 10-year labor warranty built into it, and got a little bit of kickbacks. And so pricing was good. And then inflation comes along, and get a letter from Goodman that's like, we're going up. Your equipment pricing's increasing 4 or 5% next quarter. Then it seems like every quarter they're just inching up and up and up. And, the natural thought of that is, well, you're paying more. Let's just increase our price to the customer. But man, we were already at 15 grand, and adding all this money, I mean, that we would have to increase our sales skills and everything. And it just wasn't really easy to do. So I just kind of, thought about it like, well, that's just what it is. Everybody else has their costs going up. And so that we're just going to have to deal with it. Right. And so I always knew that private equity bought equipment for less than what I did, but I had no idea just how much less they buy it for. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to a contractor that I actually went on a Goodman trip with a few years ago. I was talking to him this week, and I was looking through purchasing platform and talked to him about his equipment pricing in general. And he's like, man, they've been killing me on it. And I heard that this guy down the street, pays less. And we looked up a pricing that we get through the purchasing platform versus what he pays. And it was $1,000 more for what he pays just for an outdoor 3-ton Daikin fit unit. And he buys 1.7 million worth of equipment a year. And so he was like, oh, this is really bad. So why don't you talk about it a little bit? You've been offering your customers this purchasing platform for a while, and they're seeing some really good money flow to the bottom line without increasing their pricing. So yeah, just tell me a little bit about it and tell the viewers about it.
Well, the purchasing platform is something that's part of a Service Crucible membership, and any good coaching group or platform has to be able to serve their customers in a way where a common sense thing is consolidating buying power so you can negotiate better pricing, not just on equipment, but just about everywhere you spend your dollars. Every single dollar counts. I mean, a profit on a job can be the difference between $100 or even sometimes a little bit more than that. So being able to be at an advantage, have the transparency in pricing, knowing exactly how much you're going to pay and not having to go through quarterly price increases is a big thing. I mean, a story that I'll tell is one of the things that I do with all of my new members is I have them introduce me. They CC me on an email to their TSM. Any distributor.
That's got to be fun.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Mark, attached to a copy to Norris. He's on CC. He's my new business coach. And here's what I have my client copy and paste. He's worked for several of the largest private equity groups in the country and is very familiar with your product. Insert Lennox, Train, Carey, or Goodman, doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to ask you a few questions, but just overall get to know you. I wait for the TSM to reply. Then I have another standard formatted response that I reply with. I name drop a little bit more directly off of my experience and shed light on exactly what I've done in the past, what kind of rebates we've negotiated. And so I'll share that actually. We've negotiated up to 20 to 22% in rebates with a lot of the manufacturers and distributors that we worked with. And so I include that.
There's that.
Isn't that insane though?
That pisses me off, man.
I mean, I would love to see in the comments if anybody that's listening to this right now has come close to 20 or 22% in rebates if you're private owned.
I never did. And I thought I was negotiating good with Goodman.
Yeah, no. That's the problem. We always think we're negotiating good, but there's always something that we don't know. And so the email and interaction it's just crafted in such a way to create a back and forth. Long story short, this TSM privately gets back to my client, and he takes him from a 5 to 11% rebate. And I mean, Bill, you've run a company. That's a pretty big difference, isn't it? As far as the end of the year check that you get.
Besides labor and the cost of ServiceTitan, equipment is the highest expense, right? I mean, it's huge.
It used to be we were able to keep labor, equipment, 20, maybe 22% as a part of total COGS, top line revenue in a job that we sold. Let's see, between Home Service Freedom, a couple of the PE groups that I've worked with, now with Service Crucible, I've seen over 200 financials. The average COGS, the percentage of revenue that I see in just their equipment, that's if people have the correct chart of accounts, is 35 to 40%. And they're having to compete against private equity prices. Private equity prices are about 15 to 22% less, depending on, what their rebate schedule is, how they've negotiated, what relationships are brought to the table. So,
and their average tickets aren't less. I mean, but they could be. So if times are a little tight, their salespeople can discount and win jobs and still keep the same amount of money as you when you're have your regular pricing, right?
Well, yeah, of course. There's some compounding factors too. Let's say your equipment pricing does go up.
Yeah.
And all right, you're compressing your margins in how profitable you are. You can't really increase your prices, but if you do, you're losing on your conversion rate. So that's a lot of business that's getting lost. And then that bleeds into how you're pacing. That affects your marketing budget.
Yeah.
And it slowly turns into this tornado of like lost control. You don't want that to happen. So if P is 20% less for pricing, what does equipment cost as a total of COGS?
Are you still seeing that? As a total?
So Scott, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So PE regularly finds themselves between 21 to 25% as a total top line revenue for equipment. There's been some groups that I've worked at. Most of the groups that I've worked at collectively do at least $500 million a year in top line revenue. So that's the size that we're talking about. There's been some groups that I've worked at where the sales team's really good. There's a lot of other factors that go into it on efficiencies. And I've seen equipment and materials 25% total. So it can be done.
Yeah.
Let me know if that answers your question, Scott. I appreciate you asking. But yeah, long story short, Bill, the client gets back to me. He's like, Norris, I don't know if I should be happy or I should be pissed. We both laugh. And I'm like, what do you mean about the piss part? I've been with I've been with this manufacturer for 7 years, and overnight, just because of an email introduction, don't get me wrong, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Go from 5 to 11%. Yeah, it's normal. It happens everywhere.
Do you think it's the manufacturer or the TM? I hope there's not any TMs on this call, and I hope we don't share any replays with them, because for me, for the most part, I have not really been a fan of the TMs I've had. I've had a couple of okay ones, but most of them just got in the way of me and the manufacturer, and I knew they were taking a nice cut from it. So do you think that the TM was the one that was holding that money back so he could get higher? Okay.
No, it's from the higher ups. It's
I'm just
2-3 levels
speculating
above them.
here.
Yeah, they carve up the entire country into different territories, what the price points are. They have their averages, who buys how much. They see they track their year-over-year growth as far as volume of purchases that go their way. And the but let's put the TM into the spotlight. Your average TM is hired for greasing skids on a relationship, showing up with the pens and the donuts and the coffee. Let's say you have a good month, they'll go to Restaurant Depot with you to buy a few entire loins of steak. I didn't ask them, by the way. I told them, it was like, hey, I'm at Restaurant Depot. Why don't you show up with your credit card? I want to buy steak.
I've done that too.
Yeah. You have to
bring a price increase with them when they're there, right?
Yeah. Well, it's going to happen one way or another. So I'm like, show up and a few field pieces, get me a meter, get me a manometer, and give me a gauge set that we did this quarter. I'm sure you're happy with your bonuses. I remember you went on a nice cruise last year, so let's go. TMs, they just grease skids on relationships. They don't really have a say in how much. Now, it's just like buying a car, I think, from my experience. If you go to Kenny, that's a question we're going to get that away. You go to buy a car, right? And you already know what kind of dog and pony show you're going to go through. And you're like, no, that's too much. I want a better price. What's he going to do? He's going to go to the tower.
That's right.
And, hat in hand, he's going to go behind the glass wall and he's going to be like, can you do a better price? And eventually
there's a process for it, right? There's a process.
There is a process for it.
It's all right, though. Okay, we have sales processes.
But like, the more you have to swing, the better your thumbstick is, and your thumbstick is your collective spend, then the more, for a lack of a better term, belligerent you can be, but respectful at the same, respectfully belligerent you can be. It's like, no, that's definitely not going to work. That's why you have like 10 to 15, maybe even 20% of your total equipment spend with a secondary brand, but not just any secondary brand, a secondary brand that is an active competitor to market share that your primary brand has. We have to think about and use every bit of leverage that's in front of us. You want to hit Kenny's question?
Yeah. So I think that's a really good question. Relationships with distributors. I mean, to be upfront, I think the distributor's not going to like it in general. I mean, especially your TM. So they're used to making good money, good commission off of you. You come in and you've negotiated this pricing at a group level. The manufacturers have already agreed to it. The TMs aren't going to like it. In fact, I've got emails back after people have joined the platform where they're like, my TM says that we can't do this at all, right? You can't use purchasing platform. And then we have to get purchasing platform involved, and they go directly to the distributor and the TM and say, no, this is how this works. And so I just don't think it would be great for the relationship. I mean, if you put yourself in the TM shoes, you probably wouldn't love it. As far as like the comfort specialist programs and marketing rebates, those are all still up for negotiation. It's really going to be that distributor and TM relationship. Now, Norris, what would you recommend they do if you go to your TM and you go to your distributor and they get real pissed about this?
Well, with the way that the purchasing platform is set up, so purchasingplatform.com is the partner of Service Crucible. So we're national partners, and that's how we created the free instance for your members at ServiceTitan Hacks to create accounts and see what is possible for them. So what I would recommend is, as far as the relationship with the TM, is if they get upset, a benefit that we have is that you are not forced to order and pick up from your existing distributor. Now, geographically, if you only have one distributor of Goodman, because that's the brand that we have in Daikin Mini Splits, in your area, and they're not happy about it, then there's really not much that you can do. There will be some stuff that I can share in the future as this thing progresses. But if you have several distributors in a 20, 30-mile radius, you just set it up for pickup from somewhere else, because their branch credit for the transaction, they're still getting credit for it. And your account's not with them. It's with the person that you're no longer picking up from. Kenny, as far as, comfort specialist program possibilities, marketing rebates, etc. Here's here's how I look at it. If your net pricing is better than your pricing plus your rebates in your existing structure, what is better for you? More savings for total volume up front, where you don't have to wait every 3 months or every 12 months to get a check following a specific rebate program. Because, you'll get 3 points on a 15 or 17 SEER. You'll get 1 point. There's less distribution or rebate dollars that accumulate if you're selling stuff that they don't incentivize you to sell anyways. So your savings is up front. And what I advise my clients to do is create a holding account. Don't change your pricing substantially. Change your pricing to where you're competitive, and then whatever's left over, you're used to getting a rebate check every quarter or at the end of 12 months. Use that at the end of the year. As far as your tax liability is concerned, any CapEx purchases that you're going to make. Because for me, cash flow is king. Nothing else matters. I think the marketing rebate dollars and other training that they do, which is free anyways, is a distraction from the fact of how much my bottom line counts. Was that, let us know if that was helpful, Kenny.
Perfect. So, Norris, do you want to do a screen share and show them the platform?
Yeah,
show them how it works.
That's a great next step.
It's pretty straightforward as far as it being like an e-commerce platform, but I think it'll be helpful if everybody sees it.
Yeah, the vision for purchasing platform is to make it the online contracting superstore. There's some good stuff that's going to be coming in the future. So it's already amazing. 2 monitors. Okay.
You're working with them on design of it, right?
Design, some IT stuff, and being the subject matter expert for the industry. I've been doing this for 20 years. I started off as a maintenance tech. I was in the field. I've been in basements. I've smelled the cat pee at some houses before I even got out of the car. Yep. So, all right. Can we see the screen?
Let me throw it up here on the stage. Yeah, I think we got it.
All right. So because we are under, anytime, Kenny, glad it was helpful. So the pricing that we have is under MAP policy, minimum advertised pricing. I can't show you the pricing unless you've, by joining the platform, you sign terms and conditions, which puts you under confidentiality. You cannot, advertise the pricing, can't do screenshots, you can't show a price list, anything else like that. That's why it's blurred out. This is not any kind of cloak and dagger stuff, but I promise you, I've done some price comps even with some of the largest PE firms, and we are toe-to-toe competitive with their pricing. And in the top left, you see the Service Crucible logo. As a ServiceTitan Hacks client, you will be able to join, and you will see the ServiceTitan Hacks logo on the top left. Once you get a taste of it and you're really liking the savings, there's a few more pricing advantages and savings and perks as a part of being a dedicated HVAC scaling group and buying group that you would get with the Service Crucible instance. So if you like it, just let us know, let Bill know, and we'll get you guys taken care of. But when you favorite your products, they're your most frequented products, you'll be able to, boom, just see it as soon as you log in. And then it's just basic kind of layout as far as what you want to buy. So you can do a Lowe's for pros punch out session. There's pretty good pricing on Lowe's. Water heaters. I mean, we've been seeing some 40-gallon gas and electric the electric under $400 and the gas under $500. And they're A.O. Smith. I mean, you can get your hands on Rinnai as well. There's Noritz. But I remember things like the consumables just really hurting me in my cogs on materials, because a pack of Sawzall blades finding themselves on a truck day in and day out, that costs a lot of money and it hurts. So you get, I mean, I've seen $10 off on a pack of Sawzall blades. So it's there. You can do an Amazon Business punch out session. Wayfair, one of your guys falls through the attic and messes up some furniture. You can buy them furniture.
I've done it.
Yeah, we've all had to deal with disaster. I had a guy that was in the condo building, and he calls me, and you can tell there was just absolute despair and panic in his voice, and there was an alarm going off in the background, and I heard static, but it turns out the static was water from the fire sprinkler system for the entire condo building, soaking the entire building. That was a nightmare. But it was funny. We laughed it off after it was said and done.
But you got insurance for it, right?
Yeah. Delta, Kohler, Rinnai, LK. So I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff like that you can do, but we're here for HVAC and plumbing. Now, when you go in and you click on Goodman, so here's some of the tech stuff that we've built. It's just a drill down so you can filter and find exactly what you're looking for, especially if you haven't bought Goodman before, you don't have price books. And if you need AHRI matchups, just let me know. I have every single AHRI matchups, and I make sure they're flush fit. So you can drill down. So like you can click, so you can click on by air handler, cooling vendors. You're going to see Goodman, Service Crucible. You're going to see tonnage, refrigerant, efficiency. All of that is there. And now once you add it to your cart, this is what it looks like. So this is one of my clients in Rockledge, Florida. And it's a location that I set up for them. It's part of their onboarding. Let's say they're doing a GLXS 4BA36, right? It's in the shopping cart. Where are you going to pick it up from? So here you have it. These are all the locations within a 50-mile radius that you can go pick this equipment up from. And look at what it says underneath the addresses as well. Isn't that nice? Instead of having just to call and say, do you have this in stock? And they say they do. And when you sell it, they don't, because the PE people with better pricing get better service and better replenishment on their orders. So all products in stock. Well, when you place the order, you choose, let's say I'll choose Johnstone Supply, Melbourne. If it doesn't say JS in front of it, it's probably going to be a Ferguson or somebody else that's in the Goodman distribution network. So I choose that, and what do you call it? I can even add it to a CapEx account, or I can go into the settings and I can put in a GL number for what my equipment is. So my end of month labor is much faster. It can be mapped to my QuickBooks as well. Super helpful in doing that. After I proceed to checkout, this is the screen that I'm going to see. It's either credit card or ACH. There's no net terms. You place the order, and You'll get an order confirmation, and within an hour, especially if you selected a location where all products are in stock, you'll get a notification that it's ready for pickup at will call. In some areas, depending on the Goodman distribution network, you will be able to get delivery for $100. So if you don't need it for a next day install, you can set it up that way as well. So that's a really quick walkthrough without me actually showing any actual pricing. But if anybody ends up being a part of the program, and they've got some questions, we'll leave our contact information at the end so you guys can reach out and I'll answer any questions that you guys got.
So you can sign up for the platform, register, see your pricing, and if it looks good, you can decide whether or not you are going to purchase from there. It's
not a matter of if, it's a guarantee that it's going to look good with what I've seen.
Somehow have negotiated some amazing pricing, I don't know.
Then we need to have a conversation if they've done that.
Yeah. Right.
There's only one. It's very easy to imagine who the top two private equity companies in the country are. Mm-hmm. One starts with A, one starts with W. Those are the only two price points that I can't touch. But I'm that close.
That's nice, man. So we got Goodman and Daikin on there now. What do we think about any other equipment in the future?
It is part of the conversation. I can't guarantee anything, but I am actively trying to get, like, I'm exploring whether I can do Bosch, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to do Bosch. I mean, there's Medea, TCL, but I want to see if I can do some of the other well-known brands. I think this is the way of the future, Bill, because I've lived the life of an operator. I've seen how, I felt how horrible it was not knowing if I was going to make payroll or not. And just looking at all the equipment pricing and I have to give away all the profit just so I can get the guys' hours. Mm-hmm. I've been through moments like that. And it's been a really interesting peek behind the curtain for me the last few years. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's some amazing people that work at these distributors, but they are one of the number one bottlenecks in private-owned, family-owned companies being able to grow. Yeah. They are fleecing us in some sense because that's why they get pissed when they find out. Sometimes they get upset and there's how'd you get this pricing? And it's like, well, I'm under a map. I can't share anything. I just joined a national buying group and that's my pricing. And if they were to give you the same pricing we did, they'd probably go out of business. And, it's time to put your kids and grandkids through Ivy League school instead of their kids and grandkids through Ivy League school. I think that's a fair statement to make.
Tell us how you really feel, Norris.
I love this industry. It's a way of life. Yeah. It's not a job for me. Yeah. I don't like wasting people's time with, the whole hype sensationalist stuff. No, the pricing is better. And it will make it. I've seen a double-digit increase in net profitability with several of my clients within 90 days of selling the majority of the equipment through the platform.
It's one of the easiest things to do, right? It's not easy to increase your average ticket on something, on equipment. That takes a lot of sales skills. It takes your marketing being on point, a lot of training. It's easier to figure out a way to spend less on parts and equipment than it is to move that dollar amount up. And I know that contractors, really good contractors, are always working on increasing average tickets, always. Yeah. But then only for the most part, big contractors are ones that are really, really good on procurement side, making sure that they're always paying the least amount possible for the products they buy. Right?
Well, yeah. Excuse me, this annoying cough. You make me think about there's a difference between buying power and buying intelligence. When you're in the $2, $4, $6 million range, most of your bandwidth is associated with getting the phone to ring, running the calls, converting as many opportunities as you can, doing a great job, getting the reviews, make people happy. You don't have a dedicated arm or muscle towards purchasing. I mean, where I've had the bandwidth and the budget spent, I had an entire procurement department.
Yeah.
And so imagine that, though. That is several individuals on salaries and benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And that juice, that juice was worth every bit of the squeeze for me, because I was getting ROI on their salaries because I was keeping every single distributor and purchase honest with me.
Yeah.
And I would give them hell
Where's
every
that
time.
point, that dollar amount where, as far as that revenue for just an HVAC contractor, where that starts to become at least a break even, right?
Yeah.
Just to have someone reviewing your pricing continuously and negotiating it and making sure it's good.
Yeah. And like buying power and buying intelligence want the same thing, but they're two completely different disciplines and capabilities.
Yeah.
Like it's always been a mix of things for me. I had this one plumbing manager. He had the eyes of a hawk. He had this tick, Bill, where he would go through every single invoice. And he's like, do you see? And he was funny because he wouldn't knock. He would just bust in like Kramer on Seinfeld right through my office door. He would just, and he would frighten me every single time that he did it. He's like, and he would come up to me. He's like, do you see this? Like, I loved the passion. That's what he did. And that gave me the ammunition. But then with the proper procurement department, these people, they become the worst pain in the side of these distributors and supply houses, because they're in their inboxes and phones every single day. Because I hate this when they switch up on you at the counter, even though you have negotiated prices, you pay something else at the counter. Kenny, that's awesome that you see that you can have some immediate utilization, especially with the apartment complexes. With Train, if your third or fourth option that you're offering is a run true, so you can cover the spread and increase the probability of the best possible closing rate, instead of a run true, if the Goodman pricing turns out to be competitive, maybe you can do that as your third, fourth option. That's great feedback, though. Thank you.
Yeah. When you're talking about procurement, I worked at a manufacturer, and I worked at Liebert. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Make AC systems for data centers. So pretty big company today. They sold out to a company called Vertiv, but I worked in quality, was part of procurement, and saw this from a manufacturer corporate level, where they would just watch every penny, man, and make sure they were spending the least amount of money possible. And I did not do that in my HVAC business. I did not, I'll be honest. I didn't really have the time. It was a lot of work. And I caught some things that were very, very expensive, overpaying on line sets. And man, summer of 2020, I got killed on line sets, just killed on them.
Oh man. Yeah, I've got some similar experiences to that. I mean, every time, like, let's say a 10 or 15 foot run was needed because air handler was right there, condenser was right outside the wall, they would grab a whole 50-foot line. I'm like, what are you doing? And so I would have a serious conversation with the warehouse people and the installer. I'm like, man, if this was your business, what would you do? But from the manufacturing standpoint, you're absolutely right. One of the companies that I used to work for, their family owned a truck toolbox manufacturing company, and they would sell through Lowe's and Home Depot, and it was called Better Built. I'm not sure who it got bought out from, but it got bought out by one of the big box stores. They were telling me a story, and it was such a strong impression made on me. At one of the stations where they're grabbing sheets of aluminum to cut and bend on the presses and everything else, like, they're just not making their profit. There's no way, because their sell prices were pre-negotiated. They're like, we got to save on our expenses. And so one of them was watching the camera, the footage, and every time this guy was doing a part, he would grab a tool, walk to the rack, grab something, go to the machine, press, and then put it back. And they're like, he's taken an X amount of steps. He's taken 120 steps. They're like, if we move this station over here and that station over there, each each time that they need to do that one bend, we can take it down to 48 steps, for example.
Mhm.
That saved them a couple of points, which is
Yeah.
massive when it comes to millions of dollars in manufacturing. I've done the same thing with my plumbers, Bill. I had
Yeah.
this girl, she was the water heater queen for me. She would sell every water heater opportunity that she would go to, and I did a ride along with her. I don't care if you're a service manager or the CEO of a national home service brand. You got to be in the field, otherwise there's no respect. um, so I'm helping her install a water heater, and I'm just watching how many times she's going in and out, in and out, in and out. And I was like, you know, I will buy you a Husky kind of chest. You've been making good money. I want you to invest in the exact same set of tools that you use for water heaters and just keep that ready. One trip in,
Mhm.
set everything up, one trip out to take out the old water heater. And when you go back inside, that's it. You're buttoning up and finishing on the install. So she was able, on average, to do like 2 to 3 a day. She could do 4 to 6 a day, depending on how
Mhm.
the route was.
Yeah,
Every
and then
little bit counts, man.
you drop those labor costs there, and you can pay them a little bit more, and you can spend more money on marketing and help grow your business. So, I mean, I think that the biggest unlock would be getting that equipment pricing down. But then
100%.
from there, it goes to everything else, right? What was your, gosh, what was that, like 6 or 7% max parts and materials as a percentage of sales on
Yeah.
equipment sales? Maybe it was 6 or 7%. I had to go back and look. So there's still a lot of money to be saved on those, but the equipment obviously is the big one you want to check off the box.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest swing that you can have is it's the largest chunk of cogs right next to direct labor.
Yeah. And the only way you can really cut that is efficiency, start cutting away people's paycheck, then you
Yeah.
got a whole other problem. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I'd rather deal with dollars and cents on equipment than the emotions and difficult conversations.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much political correctness you can have when you tell somebody that's inefficient that they suck. Plus, that's
Yeah.
not good leadership. You kind of have to observe what they're doing, how you can help them improve if they're salvageable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got to put together the structure to make it so that it's as easy as possible for them to succeed, right? And that comes with really, really detailed processes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Felix, that's a really good call out. Um, that's a great performance revenue. Two techs, one comfort advisor. That's amazing.
Mhm.
You're at a very big pivotal moment. I'd be very surprised. I'd be very curious to see what the comparisons in price are going to be. So, um, you just use the link that Bill shares to sign up and just go and start comparing. Let us know. I'd be very curious to know what your feedback is with what you think is great pricing and what the pricing is that you would potentially get through the platform. And if you're getting better pricing, let me know because we can probably do something about it.
It's not that we don't want to share the pricing on here. We have it blurred out. We can't legally post what it is. There's
Yeah.
the legalese that we signed to get people signed up on the platform. We can share the link with you. You can register if you're a licensed contractor and see it for yourself. But we can't post any of that because
Yeah.
I would if I could.
All day long. I
Thanks
mean,
for telling me that we couldn't. I would have dropped that price book for the Titan hacks and be like, check this out, guys.
yeah,
Thing you
there's
know,
I mean,
getting
you
a
put the
lot of
link right there. It's going to take
cease
them
and
2
desist.
minutes to sign up. It's not like we're hiding anything.
Yeah.
So it's complete transparency, because you would have to sign up. You fill out the application, you sign up, boom, you have access to it. It puts you under the terms of condition for minimum advertised pricing, which is a one strike policy, by the way, you guys. Like it, you're not obligated to share anything with anyone if they ask you how and what you're getting your pricing. You just say, I'm a part of a
Not even the
national buy group.
distributors. You don't
Not
have
even the
to share with
distributors. Nope, you
Nope.
cannot and will not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just won't get access to it because that's how the MAP policy works. So, and why would you share it anyways? Because it's like, what do you call it? You going to somebody's house to quote them a system, and then when you don't get a yes because you didn't build enough value, then you're like, hey, you know what? If I drop this 15%, will you buy right now? So no, let the distributor put their best foot forward. Lord knows they've had years of opportunity to do that anyways.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we're coming up on time here. Anybody else in here have any other questions that we can answer for you today? No, we're good. We could keep talking crap all day long about this, right, Norris?
Yeah, 100%. It's just, I mean, we go back some and we're so philosophically aligned. I mean, we shoot the breeze easily.
That's right, man. Well, hey, thanks for joining me today. It was a great chat. Hopefully it was helpful for everybody on it. I'm going to send a replay out to everybody that signed up. And man, I hope everybody can save some money.
That sounds good. If you guys need anything, hit us up. Thanks, Bill. Thanks again for having me.
See you guys.
Take care. Bye.